Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another spectacular episode of History of the Marvel Universe. Previously, we talked about the origin of the Sons of the Tiger, a team of kung fu fighters who used the power of their Jade Tiger amulets to battle and defeat their arch foes, the Silent Ones. During their battles, the three men, Lin Soon, Abraham Brown, and Bob Diamond, rescued a woman named Lotus Shinchuko, who joined the group, entering a relationship with Bob Diamond. The Tiger Sons fought both as a team and individually, making more allies in their battles against injustice. Abe teamed up with a private investigator named Nathaniel Alexander Bird, aka Blackbird, while Bob worked with a detective named Sergeant D'Angelo to solve a string of murders. However, the downfall of the Sons of the Tiger began when it came out that Lotus had also grown close to Lin Soon. The team met and Bob confronted Lin, who confirmed that he and Lotus had fallen in love. Abe attempted to calm his friend, but Bob, in his anger, kicked Abe aside. Abe, however, refused to fight. Tired of Bob's anger and hatred, he removed his amulet, tossed it aside, and left the team. Unable to stand the sight of the team being torn apart, Lotus also left, admitting that she loved both Bob and Lin, leaving them alone. Then something snapped in Lin Soon. He could no longer stand and take the slurs leveled at him by his former friend. Lin attacked Bob and the two began a heated battle. The two men argued and traded blows until they were both beaten and bloody. Finally, they decided to let go. To let go of Lotus, of anger, and of their hatred. Bob and Lin walked away together, leaving the tiger amulets behind. The following morning, a Puerto Rican man named Hector Ayala came across the three mystical amulets. He put on all three, their power transforming Hector into the White Tiger. Meanwhile, in a nearby train yard, a small street gang called the Nomads knocked down the security guard and began tagging the place. Not only that, but one of the gang members passed a gun to the youngest recruit and ordered the kid to kill the guard. Fortunately, the White Tiger arrived in time and easily defeated the gang members. However, the boy with the gun took aim at the White Tiger and pulled the trigger, injuring his arm. Before he could fire again, the security guard clocked him in the back of the head with his baton. Unfortunately, the guard struck with too much force, and the boy died. In anger and frustration, the White Tiger struck the guard and fled the scene. The following morning, the tiger transformed back into Hector Ayala. Tired and nauseous, Hector had no memory of what had happened after he picked up the tiger amulets. Returning home and sneaking into his room, Hector fell asleep, soon awakened by his sister Awilda. Hector emerged to have breakfast with his sister and mother, but Detective D'Angelo arrived with several police officers. Hector's radio was found near the train yard, and Hector admitted that he had no memory of what happened the previous night. He then felt the amulets tingle again. He assaulted the officers and ran, escaping and hiding before he transformed yet again. The White Tiger, also a suspect for the death of the boy, went on the run, and he was attacked by a vigilante named the Prowler. The two masked men fought, and D'Angelo arrived, telling them both that the security guard from the train yard had regained consciousness and confessed what had really happened, clearing both the White Tiger and Hector Ayala. Hector's mother and sister saw the relieving news in the paper, but Hector did not return home. Rather, when the White Tiger changed back to Hector Ayala, he was sick and couldn't remember what happened while he was the White Tiger. However, Hector saw pictures of his other persona in the newspaper and took notice of the amulets hanging around the tiger's neck. Hector realized that he was the White Tiger, and the memories came flooding in. However, Hector wasn't the only one to notice the amulets. D'Angelo and Blackbird also recognized them from their run-ins with the Sons of the Tiger and decided to investigate. Shortly after, the White Tiger was attacked by a man calling himself the Jack of Hearts, who blamed Tiger for the death of his father. As it turns out, Jack's father, Philip Hart, developed an extremely powerful liquid fuel called Zero Fluid. Zero fluid would have been able to replace conventional energy sources, but a man named Mr. Maris took an interest in obtaining the formula for himself. When Hart refused to sell, Maris's men stormed his home and shot him dead. Jack fled to the basement, but Maris and his men chased after him, firing at him with a laser cannon that struck the vat of zero fluid, destroying the formula and dousing Jack Hart in energy. Miraculously, Jack's body absorbed and contained the energy, allowing him to control it and fire it from his hands, avenging his father. Finding inspiration from his father's playing card, Jack crafted a costume from Philip Hart's armor collection and became the Jack of Hearts. But why did he blame the White Tiger? Well, during the whole ordeal, Jack heard Maris say that the tiger was waiting for him in the South Bronx. Naturally, when Jack of Hearts saw the news reports of a man calling himself the White Tiger in the Bronx, he assumed that the tiger was Maris's employer. The White Tiger insisted on his innocence, and when the two men tumbled off the side of the rooftop, Jack took the brunt of the impact as he began to suspect that he was wrong about the tiger. Fortunately, at that moment, Blackbird, D'Angelo, and Hector's sister, Awilda, all arrived on the scene. The four took the injured Jack of Hearts to a hospital for treatment before convening in a private room. D'Angelo and Blackbird questioned why the White Tiger had the amulets formerly worn by the Sons of the Tiger, while Awilda was desperate to find her brother. Not wishing to distress his sister further, Hector unmasked himself and explained everything that had happened. Before the tiger's allies could process everything they'd been told, Jack's unconscious body began violently releasing energy after hospital staff attempted to remove his armor. Hector rushed in, risking his life to awaken and calm Jack, allowing him to sleep peacefully. The team began planning their next move, intending to investigate the supposed tiger behind the murder of Philip Hart. Awilda protested her brother getting involved, but Hector insisted on fighting. There wasn't much time to argue, however, for armed warriors broke into the hospital, demanding the life of Jack of Hearts. The attackers held Awilda captive, but the tiger and his two allies fought back, defeating them with some help from the weakened Jack. Angry and frustrated at what her brother had become, Awilda returned home to her mother where Hector's druggy brother Filippo had arrived. Filippo admitted that he had been running drugs for years, but now he was carrying $500,000 worth of opium to deliver to a man named Maris. Not only that, but he had a bomb attached to his body that would explode if he didn't make the delivery, and Maris didn't show. Meanwhile, the White Tiger, D'Angelo, and Blackbird decided to investigate the El Tigre bar in the South Bronx. After a fight at the bar, an explosive meant for the White Tiger killed a teenage girl, leading to a riot in the streets. The police eventually came to take control of the situation, and the tiger fled to the rooftops, leaving D'Angelo and Blackbird behind. Back at the hospital, Jack of Hearts recovered from his injuries. Striking out into the night, Jack was determined to find the man responsible for his father's death. He made his way to the Daily Globe, the rival newspaper to Spider-Man's Daily Bugle, to find what information they had dug up about his father's murder. Jack learned that Simon Maris, the man who attempted to obtain the zero fluid, was a drug smuggler, a gun runner, and an extortionist who knew that Philip Hart was engaged in potentially illegal business with the Chilean government. Jack also learned that the last shipment to his father from Chile would be arriving that night aboard a freighter called El Tigre. Back to the White Tiger, Hector saw his sister and brother being attacked by a street gang. He jumped down to help, dispatching the attackers and learning of the bomb strapped to Filippo's chest. Filippo brought his brother to the docks where he was supposed to meet Maris aboard El Tigre. Hector went ahead to investigate the boat, aware that Maris was already dead, a fact that Jack of Hearts relayed to Filippo when he also arrived on the scene. Jack was met by the same warriors who tried to take him out at the hospital, led by a man named Strike. Fortunately, while the White Tiger and Jack of Hearts were fighting their way through the ship, Blackbird was busy recruiting allies and arrived on the scene with Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist, and Shang-Chi, the master of Kung Fu. While the warriors battled and defeated Strike and his men, Hector made his way deep into the bowels of the ship, where he found the supposed leaders of the evil organization had taken their own lives. And when Filippo arrived, it's revealed that Filippo was the real mastermind the whole time. Filippo also revealed that while his track marks were fake, the bomb on his chest was real, and that he planned on joining forces with the criminal mastermind and father of Shang-Chi, Fu Manchu. However, the reason for his lieutenant's suicide was made clear when Filippo played the response from Fu Manchu, who declined to work with his organization. Thoroughly defeated, Filippo activated the bomb on his chest, giving his brother and the various heroes a mere 5 minutes to escape the ship, which of course they did before the ship shredded apart and sank. After this experience, thanks to Blackbird, the White Tiger briefly met Lynn, Lotus, and Bob. However, when the Tiger's sons left to reunite with Abraham Brown, Hector remained in New York to attend Empire State University. This story was told in the pages of Spectacular Spider-Man number 9 and number 10. In these issues, President Dwyer of ESU planned on shutting down the night school due to budgetary constraints. This move would disproportionately affect minority students who needed to take night classes so they could work and support themselves during the day, and so students, including Hector, protested the decision. A professor named Ramon Vasquez argued that the school could sell the Erskine manuscript, a valuable document they possessed written by the late Abraham Erskine, the World War II scientist who created the serum that turned Steve Rogers into Captain America. Of course, later that evening, armed men snuck onto the campus intending to steal the Erskine manuscript. Hector spotted them and, after transforming into the White Tiger, gave chase. Meanwhile, Peter Parker, who was studying in the library at the time, came across the White Tiger, who admitted to stealing the valuable document. Unprepared for the fight, Peter was trapped under a falling bookcase while the White Tiger made his escape with the manuscript. Then, the armed men who had broken into the library were intercepted by the White Tiger. Peter recovered and ran out, the Tiger backhanding him, which gave the armed goons just enough time to run away. When the security guards recovered, the White Tiger also made his escape. That same night, Peter changed to Spider-Man and snuck into the Daily Globe offices, seeking to learn more about the White Tiger. Here, Spidey reviewed news reports of the Tiger's recent battles and learned of his association with Blackbird. Spidey traveled to Harlem to question the detective, and when he explained that the White Tiger had gotten into trouble, Blackbird explained to Spider-Man, and to any readers who hadn't read Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, how the White Tiger came to be. Spidey returned to ESU, where he found the White Tiger attacking Professor Vasquez alongside the Erskine manuscript. Spider-Man and the White Tiger fought, while Blackbird tracked down the armed gang who tried to steal the manuscript, the remnants of a gang called the Black Hand, whose leader was killed in a battle with Iron Fist and the Sons of the Tiger. While Blackbird took on the Black Hand, Spider-Man and the White Tiger battled across town, until both men risked their lives to protect innocent bystanders, and it's revealed that Professor Vasquez had impersonated the White Tiger to steal the manuscript. In the end, Vasquez confessed, Blackbird and the police rounded up the thugs, Dwyer agreed to work with the students to find a way to keep the night school open, and Spider-Man and the White Tiger parted as allies. After that, Hector became a supporting character in the Spectacular Spider-Man, occasionally changing to the White Tiger to help combat evil. In one such occasion, a villain called the Lightmaster became convinced that Hector was Spider-Man. He attacked Hector, blasting off his tiger amulets, causing him to get sick again, intending to expose the true identity of Spider-Man on live TV. Fortunately, the real Spider-Man retrieved the amulets and brought them to Hector, who then transformed, allowing the world to learn that he was the White Tiger. Of course, Spider-Man and the White Tiger worked together to defeat Lightmaster. Hector also began dating an art student named Holly Gillis, and while being outed as the White Tiger caused Holly to distance herself from him, the two eventually reconciled and set up a mobile learning center in the South Bronx, providing education to underprivileged kids. Unfortunately, things took a tragic turn for Hector when he returned home one night to find his parents and his sister murdered. Blackbird and the White Tiger pressed an informant for information which led Hector to the killer, a man named Gideon Mace, who had previously battled Luke Cage, and who wanted to destroy New York's superheroes. The White Tiger battled Mace and his men, but he was led into a trap and riddled with bullets. Mace dumped the Tiger's body in front of the Daily Bugle building where Peter Parker found him, barely alive. Hector was brought to the emergency room where thankfully Blackbird insisted the doctors not try to remove the Tiger amulets. On the way there, Hector told Peter what happened to him, and so, after changing to Spider-Man and conferring with Blackbird, Peter tracked down Mace to take on him and his gang. While Spider-Man defeated Mace, Hector survived his surgery thanks to the power of his amulets. After a week of recovery, Hector decided to finally rid himself of the Tiger amulets, despite the pain and sickness that came with removing them. After 3 more weeks of recovery, Hector and Holly decided to leave New York, far away from anyone who knew about the White Tiger. As a goodbye, Hector left the Tiger amulets with Blackbird, asking him to return them to the Sons of the Tiger, but warning of their addictive power. This was not the end of the legacy of the White Tiger, but we will discuss what happens next in a future episode. So, if you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of future videos. Shout out to Tom Ryan, who requested a video about Jack of Hearts, so you can expect to learn more about Jack in a future video. In the meantime, let me know in the comments who you think would be a good choice to play the Sons of the Tiger or Hector Ayala in a live-action adaptation. As always, the issues referenced in this video are listed in the description below if you want to read them for yourselves, as well as links to my Twitter and Patreon. Until next time, true believers, Excelsior!